Hey traders, welcome back. It's Chris here. So I got a different video for you here today. Normally I do every Sunday a stock trading video, analyzing a new stock, give my trade recommendations, ways you can trade and make money off it. But I'm gonna do something slightly different this Sunday. So I get a lot of questions about books, trading books that I like to read, books on trading psychology, mindset, peak performance. And I don't know if you noticed, but I'm a voracious reader. I read about a book every single week, and I only read books on 4 topics and 4 topics only. I read books on trading. I read books on Buddhism. Been practicing Buddhism for 20 years. I read books on neuroscience. That's what I study at the university. And I read books on peak performance and mindset. And I just finished a really good book that I really think y'all would enjoy and appreciate it. So it's called 90% Mental, and it's by a professional baseball player who's an all-star baseball player who is now a mental skills coach in the Major League Baseball. He was for, I think, the Boston Red Sox, and now he's a mental skills coach for the San Francisco Giants. So this is someone who has gone through the system, was a professional player, and is now on the other side of it, and he's training the current set of athletes, particularly focusing on pitchers, but he also focuses on all players, and he's giving them the mindset tools and the mental skills to elevate their game. And he's worked with some of the best in the game right now. And so some of the things I really like about this book that I think you should get and you would enjoy, and you would really take a lot from this, because he's able to translate it in the kind of, language of not just an athlete, but a performer and someone who it has to perform every single day. And that's what we have to do as traders. We don't get paid to sit there. We get paid based on our performance. And so if our performance is off, it will show in our P&L and it'll show in our trades. If our performance is on, again, it will show in our profits and it will end up in our bank account. So trading is a skill-based game and it's a performance-based game. And so you have to perform well and you have to execute the right skills to do that. One of those skills you have to make money trading is mindset skills, is these mental skills that he talks about in here. And so I kind of want to go over, a couple passages here that I really liked from it, and then talk about why I think you should get the book, what I think you would get at, some of the methods that he teaches in there. It's just some really good stuff. It was a really easy read for me. He writes in a very simple language, but he writes like an athlete. He writes like a performer. And I think y'all would really resonate with that. So there's a passage here I really like to read, and I'm going to, even though he's using the language of baseball and baseball players, I'm going to translate the language for traders. So here goes. There is uncertainty of the outcome, and the uncertainty for a trader lacking confidence creates fear. When fear creeps in, self-talk becomes focused on what will go wrong if the trader doesn't trade well. Traders thinking like this allow their minds to control them rather than the other way around. The mind creates all of these destructive consequences that may happen to the trader if he or she doesn't trade well. Instead of thinking of his or her next trade preparation, or next trading journal entry, the trader has caved to all of this garbage in their head. Confident traders battle fear too, but they control it rather than allow it to control them. The key to this is self-awareness. Traders need to pay enough attention to this so they can identify what makes them uncomfortable while trading and work hard to change it. So there was a lot in there, and that's just, like 1 or 2 paragraphs. And, the book is very much like this. Now, there's some of the book is a lot of anecdotes and stories, but he gives a lot of his methodology that he uses with his professional baseball players. And I'm not going to talk so much about the methods because I'd like you all to read it and discover them yourself, see which ones you would like to practice, integrate, try them out, see how they work for you. But I'd like to talk about some of these things that he mentioned here. So he mentioned there is uncertainty for a trader, and that uncertainty for a trader lacking confidence creates fear. So professional traders face the same uncertainty as struggling traders do. We have the same right edge of the chart that you have. There's no difference in that aspect. But the difference is that when you experience fear, because you don't have the experience on how to manage that, you don't have the experience of overcoming and being profitable, you don't have the confidence or the training to get yourself back on track, that fear often takes you off the reservation. It causes you to revenge trade, to have fear of missing out, to not pull the trigger when you have a setup. It causes you to do a lot of these things that you don't want to do, that you don't want to execute, that are not part of your trading plan or your strategy. You trade instruments that you're not supposed to. You trade trade sizes you're not supposed to because you lost the last one. It causes you to do a lot of things. And pretty soon the mistakes start compounding on each other, one after another after another. And then next thing you know, you're in a big hole and you're wondering, how did I get here? How do I get out of this? And then you start coming up with concoctions and ways to like over leverage and over trade and double and triple your position size to get back those losses. The problem at that point is you are so far away from your trading plan and what you need to mentally execute. That's not a place you want to trade from. You want to trade from a place of preparation, from having a focus on what you want to execute and then executing that. That's where you're going to make your best trades. And so with that being said, you know, it's important to understand that uncertainty doesn't have to create fear. It doesn't create fear for me. I face uncertainty every single day. I took 14 trades yesterday. I took about 6 today, and I was facing the same uncertainty as everyone else entering on those same stocks at the same price at the same time. And so uncertainty in and of itself doesn't have to be this bugaboo that really scares you. It doesn't scare me. You can train your mind to not be so worried about the uncertainty of what's going to happen next and just focus on the chart, focus on your trading plan, and focus on your strategy. This is a mental skill you need to have and you need to learn. Now, one of the other things he says in there, which I really like, he says, when fear creeps in, self-talk, what we say to ourselves in our head, becomes focused on what will go wrong. So it's negative, and this is super important, if the trader doesn't trade well. And so this is super important. You all have experienced self-talk going on in your head. And I'm willing to bet that if you were to kind of write it all out or type it all out as it was happening, and then put it on a sheet of paper, and then like, you know, or type it on a, you know, a document, and one half of the left is positive and one half on the left is negative, I'm pretty sure the negative self-talk, that side of the page, is going to be full, and the positive self-talk is going to be very small. You are not going to win that way. Your brain, my brain, all our brains are wired in a certain way as humans that we have 500% more neural real estate. That means we have more brain cells, 5 times more brain cells in our brains, in our nervous system, dedicated towards the negative versus the positive. You can't trade well if that 5-to-1 ratio is constantly going on in your head, because if you're constantly thinking about the negative or those thoughts are going through your head, which are you more likely to execute? What you want to, or the outcome you fear the most that's going through your head 5 times for every 6 thoughts? You're going to make more mistakes. You're going to often be worried about losing. You're going to be worried about missing a trade. You're going to be worried about not getting the profit that you want in it. There's so many things that the negative self-talk can cause in your head. It's just going to derail your performance. And it also derails your concentration to focusing on, hey, what's happening in the chart right now? Is this trade, you know, losing momentum? Do I need to exit and take profit? Does it still got plenty of momentum? Should I keep riding it even though I'm making more profit than I'm used to? My chart is telling me it's still going, so I should stay in it. You can't do that if during that process your self-talk is going negative. So this is super, super important. You have to learn to manage that self-talk and then redirect it towards what you need to execute. Very, very important mental skill. The next thing he mentions is, he says, the key to this is self-awareness. Very, very important. Traders need to pay enough attention to this so they can identify what makes them uncomfortable during a trade and work hard to change it. So there is no way around it. If you want to trade successfully and build the mindset skills to make money consistently, you will have to build self-awareness at least around trading, around success, and around money. I'm not saying you have to become a Zen monk. I'm not saying you have to become some sort of Shaolin martial artist or anything like that. You have to build the self-awareness skills so that when you are trading, you're able to observe the patterns of thinking, the emotions that come up, the thoughts, the worries, the fears, the doubts. You know, where do you direct your attention? Are you focused or unfocused? You have to know what's going on, because the self-awareness allows you to see all that and then be like, hey, I'm doing good in this area and I'm doing good in this area, but you know, when my emotions get kicked in, I don't do this well, I don't execute well, or I feel this. Just like you have to find patterns in the chart, you have to find the patterns inside your mind that repeat themselves. And I'm willing to bet that if you think about it, there are a lot of patterns and thoughts and emotions that repeat themselves. If you don't have the self-awareness to know what they are, how can you change it? How can you build the mindset to make money trading if you don't have the self-awareness to see what they are and then apply methods to change that? You can't. This is a very important mental skill to build the self-awareness while you're trading. Now, there's a lot more I could say about this book. There's a lot of the methods I'd like to talk about it, but my suggestion is you should definitely go out and get the book. So again, the book is called 90% Mental. and it's by Bob Tewksbury. I thought it was really well written. I actually blew through it in 4 days. It's about, 220, 230, 240 pages, so pretty fast reading. But I just really enjoyed it for the simple style. I liked how he mixed in the stories with the methods. He talked about his own personal challenges. He talked about challenges that other baseball players are having that he's worked with, either as a mental skills coach or as a player. He talked about different coaches that he had and how the best coaches were able to kind of really read into the player individually, sense their strengths and weaknesses, and work with them. I just thought it was such a really good book. And, all throughout this whole book, the common thread is the mindset of performance, the mental skills you need to perform well. The title itself, 90% mental, I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure it comes from the Yogi Berra quote, who famously said, baseball is 90% mental, the other 50% is physical. Trading, we don't really have a physical component. There are some physical aspects that are not really talked about in trading psychology, but those are pretty few and far between. 95% of our performance is determined by what goes on in your head and between your two ears. You have to sharpen that like a tool if you want to be focused, if you want to perform well, if you want to execute under high pressure situations when you got 4 or 5 or maybe even 6 figures on the line. Are you going to be able to do that with your current skills? Probably not. So if you want to be that professional trader that can manage that kind of money, that can be focused when you need to, that can execute under high stress situations, you have to build your mindset and you have to build the mental skills to do that. So I'd recommend definitely checking out this book. Now, if you'd like to learn more and train more about mindset, we actually have an entire mindset course. It's called the Advanced Traders Mindset Course. This is based upon my 20 plus years of studying neuroscience. So neuroscience was my focus at the university. I specifically focused on human learning and memory, how to improve performance, particularly mental performance. And so we're using a lot of this cutting edge neuroscience to teach you mindset skills, actual practices, actual methods, so that you can help rewire your brain so you don't have that 5-to-1 ratio of negative to positive, but you bring it more into balance. If you want to get over fear of missing out, how to manage your emotions, how to build deeper focus, how to mentally execute what you need to. If you want to unwire certain bad habits, we teach you the actual methods to do it, and it's all based upon neuroscience and research and my 20 plus years experience, not just as a trader, but also as a Buddhist meditator and someone who's done a 1-year meditation retreat. I feel like that gives me a certain advantage and a certain edge to teach you certain mental skills that no traditional trading psychologist could. So if you'd like to learn more about that, check us out at secondskiesforex.com. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you'd like to see more book reviews, let us know in the comments below. Make sure to Hulk smash that like button. We really appreciate it. It helps us out with the YouTube algorithm and allows us to continue doing videos like this to help you improve your trading performance. So let us know what you thought in the comments below. And if you get the book, also let us know what you thought about it, if you learned anything from it, and how you were able to adapt it to your trading. So I look forward to hearing from you. Until then, good luck trading, and I'll see you in the next video.